This is the last academic video of the 2020-2021 school year. Congratulations, you made it this far. All we've got is one last thing, and yes, you guessed it, that's our semester end final exam. And that covers quite a bit of material, so I'm gonna kind of help you walk through that whole picture. I've got our handy dandy review guide. I'll let you know what's here, and then we'll take a look at the content, the topics which I've put on the board behind me. So, this review guide is shared with you electronically on the weekly planner. If you want a printout, you just have to let me know. I don't like printing one for everybody because they just wind up on the floor in the trash. But if you're the kind of person like me, you want to have a physical copy of it, just let me know and I'll print one for you in our next class. Okay, so let's get started. On the front, exam details, crucial information about the test, including what you can bring, what's allowed, and all that kind of stuff. So that's all here. Also the time. Remember, our test is Wednesday, 8:45 in Brady Hall. Extra help sessions. There's 3 of those between now and the test. Store up your questions and come to one, and I'll do what I can to help you. Finally, there's a little bit about the format, the types of questions that you'll get on the exam. And then here's the meat of the document, exam topics. It goes through with a lesson-by-lesson bullet point list of all the things that you'll see on the exam. So chapter 8, chapter 13, goes on and on and on. B's unit right there. And then finally our last unit, the financial mathematics, okay? So the way to use that is to look it over, browse the topics, and make notes about things that maybe you didn't master the first time or things that were particularly challenging to you so you can make sure to review them. There's a review assignment for all the units that we did in the chapter, and you can use that in the same way. Go through that review assignment, do the problems that are particularly challenging for you, check your answers in the back, things like that. The B's unit has a review assignment with a key attached, okay? So that's the bulk of what's here on this document. I want to call your attention to the last 2 sections. There's a section on test study strategies. These are ways and things you can do while you're studying for a test, like study in a group, get plenty of sleep while you're reviewing, look over old homework assignments. Here's a really critical one. Look over your old quizzes and tests. I write test problems in very similar ways. So if you master the way I do that by reviewing those old tests, then you stand a better chance of earning a nice grade on the final. Finally, test taking strategies. These are also super important. If you follow these, you could get a better score without knowing any more math. One critical one is, if you get stumped on a problem, skip it. Don't waste 15 minutes on a problem that you can't do. All the problems are 3 points, pretty much all throughout the test. And 3 points is 3 points is 3 points. Doesn't matter whether it comes from a hard one or an easy one. So make sure you do all the ones that are easy for you first, and then cycle back around and attack the more tough problems. And finally, get enough sleep the night before the test. That's a recipe for a bad performance. If you stay up till 3 in the morning and then get up at 8, you only have like 5 hours sleep. Your brain needs that sleep to perform, to think hard, and to do well on a math test. Okay, so let's take a look at the topics real briefly. We started with coordinate geometry. This was the geometry of distance, midpoints, slopes of lines, things like that. Then we did line equations, and we had several different ways of expressing equations of lines. So you need to be comfortable with that. You'll need to graph some lines, and you'll need to be able to read a graph. Then we jumped into trigonometry. Now this was SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. And we used that on right triangles. These are triangles that have 90-degree angles. And we did 2 things with SOHCAHTOA. We figured out how to find missing side lengths, and then we also figured out how to find angles in that same triangle. So you'll need to be able to do both of those. Then finally, we finished up the trigonometry chapter with some problem solving or word problems. Situations where you use trigonometry to figure something out. Finally, well not finally, second to last, we did the Do Bees Build It Best unit. This was also about geometry, but it was about the geometry of honeycombs and how are bees the most efficient at making a honeycomb to store honey and use the least amount of wax. So we did a lot of geometry along the way. You'll want to look over that review assignment and perhaps look over your unit test as well. Finally, we finished up with something that's super important to your future life as an adult, and that's mathematics, the financial mathematics. So here we looked at percent change, we looked at markups and discounts, we looked at sales tax, we looked at appreciation and depreciation, and then finally we did three lessons on interest. We started with simple interest and we moved on to compound interest. So you want to also look over that. So like I said before, I've got a review assignment for you for each of these 4 sections. You'll want to dig in and practice. Remember, the best way to do well on a test that has math problems is to practice by doing math problems. A final tip, start making your cheat sheet right away. Keep a piece of paper next to you as you work through the review assignment and jot down all the things that you needed along the way. It might be messy, it might not be your ultimate cheat sheet, but if you make all those notes while you work through the review, then you can take those notes and coalesce them down into a nice, concise cheat sheet. What you get is 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 front and back. So it's actually 4 pages. I think that's way more than anybody needs, but if you want to do that, you can do that. Remember, it has to be done in your own hand. You have to write your cheat sheet. So that's what I got for you. I'm going to say happy studying, good luck, and I look forward to seeing how you do on the test.